right, welcome back to the Home and Abroad podcast, ladies and gentlemen. And I believe this episode is going to be one of our best episodes yet.
Yes, sir. I
Yes.
mean, how do I say it? I'm pretty much like excited for the episode, honestly, because of I want to say caliber of the is it the personality of our
Yeah.
guests. And I mean, it's gonna be like the second Ghanaian that we've brought on the show. I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
a lot of people will be thinking, do we have a thing for Ghanaians? And
Yes, so
I mean,
repping West Africa.
exactly. That's number one reason. And they're our brothers and sisters as well.
Yes, so people don't like to fight as siblings.
Yeah, we will fight over a lot of things, including the Jollof Rice War. Let's start from there. I really want to know what you think, Victoria. Like, what do you think? Who has the best jollof rice?
So I think I discussed this with somebody some few days ago that first of all, cooking jollof is very subjective. I wouldn't make it Ghana versus Nigeria. I would say I cook one of the best jollof.
Ah, you've raised the bar. You've raised the bar.
I would stand on it. People in Greensboro who have tasted my jollof come out and say, Nigerians, Ghanaians, just come out and say, okay.
So your jollof is very diversified. Is that what you're saying? You're cooking jollof for the demography, regardless.
Raised the game.
Right, and also my dad is half Ivorian, so I mean,
Oh,
so
Wow.
Can you imagine just how much we've gotten out from her, in how much information we've just gotten from her in just like a space of 2 minutes, just from asking, oh, what does she think
Just
about
one question.
Oh man.
All right.
This is what we tell our guests. We bring out the
All
best
right.
in people.
Yeah. Let me do a proper introduction. So for those that are watching, so they can have an idea, of who she really is. And I'm very sure, I'm very confident that this episode, you guys are going to love it. So our guest today is, a true definition of multifaceted excellence. She is a chartered accountant, a finance consultant, a data scientist in making, an agri-business expert. She's, all in one person. She is committed to environmental sustainability. She's also very passionate about making impact everywhere she finds herself. She is an inventor, an employer of labor, if I dare say so, a subject matter expert, an authority in her own field, a nationally and internationally recognized board member or one of the highest authorities in this country, an ambassador, an advocate for climate smart agriculture. Ladies and gentlemen, I can go on and on and on. Please welcome founder and CEO of Green AgriTech Foundation. It's all in her name, Victoria Tanoh.
my goodness, thank you all so much. I am so privileged to be here. And in summary, I'm just a servant. I would say that.
Please, let's take it with the own humility.
I've been calling her excellency.
Which man? You guys.
One more thing is that she's all of this and more. And
This is just
as in all of this, she has all of these credentials, and coupled with the fact that she's also a mom. Oh boy, I mean, people don't realize just how much I would say, because she doesn't look stressed. I wanted to say how much stressful that can be, right? She doesn't look stressed. She approached the whole role with grace, too much grace. I mean, she's a mom, she's a wife. See, I can't speak enough of just, I mean, so much. I'll say I admire that a lot about you ever since you've agreed to be on the podcast. And I just want to put out there, and this is going to like shape the narrative in which this conversation is going to go. And I mean, with all of that said, Kesh, I think one befitting topic to have, or that actually suits our guests, would be the American dream, right?
Yep.
And just like the terms and condition applied, like what people don't talk about, that
Yep.
people that come to this country, what they have to go through, right? What they have to, how they have to navigate life, how they have to like probably start from the scratch. And I think in Victoria's case, like how she's been able to like maneuver all of this, and with this, I mean, look at that now with so many credentials to her name.
Many
I
things.
mean, we
To
want to
get
talk about,
she's
yeah,
also the journey of getting a PhD.
yeah. So we want to
How
talk
do you
everything unfiltered, everything unfiltered behind just the American dream. And to just kickstart, I just want you to just briefly just tell us about yourself before we now like, I mean, take turns and talk about what the American dream looks like to us.
All right. So first of all, thank you for having me here. So my name is Victoria Tanoh, but in Ivory Coast we say Tanoh. So then that gives it a little bit of that French
oh,
part of it. So I am currently a PhD student in data science and analytics here at North Carolina A&T State University. I am the founder of Green AgriTech Foundation. I'll touch on that as we go down the lane. I have a master's in agriculture and environmental systems. My major concentration was agribusiness and food industry management. And then I have a bachelor's in accounting, and I'm also a chartered accountant, certified by Ghana. I am writing the North Carolina CPA, which is the accounting body here in the US. I am also an associate for Chartered Institute of Management Accountants. So those are like the school stuff that I have done a little bit. But when it comes to my professional journey, so I started again, like I said, as an accountant. Super excited. I've been an auditor in Ghana. I've audited so many companies in different areas, government, non-profit, private sector, food industry, environmental. I've risen through the ranks from audit to advisory. Yeah, so I've been in the industry space. I worked as a country finance manager in a biotech, multinational biotech industry. I reshuffled their procurement systems, worked on taxation a little bit, and then I came here as a student, and as a master's student in agriculture and
Okay.
environmental systems. There, I got exposed to a lot of I went for conferences. I came in with some funding. I had a research experience. I was with the LC Cooper Jr. International Trade Center in the College of Ag. I worked with a professor that gave me some experience or exposure. That was where I found a niche. And I would write on that as we move on.
Yeah.
That some farmers in North Carolina in agricultural space needed a little bit of overhaul. And then with that in mind, merging agriculture technology, finance, accounting, and data science, I moved into my PhD study. So in a nutshell, this will be me as we go along. You get to know some of the stuff, I guess.
I feel like, man, like I said earlier when Kesh was doing the introduction, I have so much admiration for what you've been able to accomplish. And I feel like that ties into what the other side of the question is, which is what the American dream looks like to all of us here. And to start, I'll start so you guys can have an idea. I think I've been able to like pick one or two things from what you said that sort of like align with what my idea of American dream is all about, right? So for me, coming into this country, I mean, we all came here with our suitcase, right? Yeah. And mine was filled with, I mean, with both dreams and uncertainty. That suitcase. Honestly, I've been. It was. I mean, for me, like maybe many other people, it was like an opportunity to start from scratch, right? It meant I also needed to like work twice as hard for half of the recognition, all in the name of like opportunity, right? And what other thing it means, and in all of this, I felt like I needed to uh, describe what success looks like. At every start of a journey, for anyone that's actually starting all over, you want to have an idea of, okay, to you personally, what's your definition of success? What would success look like after pursuing all of these American dreams, or maybe getting to like the finish line? What would you define success as? I feel like, a lot of people would say maybe sending money back home, or watching your children live a better life than you did. And in all of these things, I feel like it speaks to me as well when it comes to like what the American dream is all about. Being able to afford certain things of life, being able to extend that same life, or living that life to your kids. That's just an idea of what American dream looks like to me, and many more that is not even coming to mind right now. So I'll just like pass it around,
Yeah.
go to Kesh, and then finally lands on Victoria, and then we could just like switch it like that.
Yeah. So for me, American dream, what it means to me is more of maximizing potential in an environment that one provides opportunity and also rewards like diligence. So like coming from where we're coming from, there are so many things that you probably want to do, but just because of the system won't allow you to do some certain things. So American dream to me is more like providing that opportunity to sort of fly beyond, limitations, fly beyond, and just become whatever you want to become. So that's what it means to me personally. And I've seen, good examples around me. I mean, like you said, came just with bags and hopes and a lot of uncertainty. And you come in here, you see different stories. That's also like another beautiful thing about it. Like you see different stories of how people are sort of begin from scratch, and then they're able to do so many things. So that also inspires you. It gives you like that space to dream big and be able to actually achieve those things. So to me, in a nutshell, it's just being able to maximize potential and fly and so high. So yeah, Victoria, over to you.
That's beautiful. I think Akin mentioned something about American Dream, the fact that it gives the opportunity to start from scratch. I had a different reality. All right. So the American Dream being that first it's a dream. And so you have to understand that it's a dream. Usually you don't wake up or you don't dream whilst you are already awake. I think you are
That would be
usually
daydreaming.
all right. So that would be daydreaming. You are usually asleep, and that means that you are at a stage where you are rested. You have an assurance that you would wake up. So that's why you're dreaming. Let me take it as from that. Now, I came in, I was a chartered accountant. I had worked. I came in with a different reality. I thought, or a different dream, that I could actually practice accounting in here. And for somebody who was like one of the youngest chartered accountants in my cohort, actually the youngest, I felt like, all right, I had a good prospect. I was a member and a qualified accountant on the same day, which was pretty impressive. I thought coming in here, accounting was accounting. But I woke up to that dream, all right, that you start from scratch. And so for me, what makes the American dream even beautiful is you come in, you might have some dreams, but you come in to re-dream a new dream. You come in to realize that you are a plain canvas. That resilience that you have to paint your own story again is what makes the American dream beautiful. If anybody had told me that I would be interested in the area of agriculture, agroecology, regenerative agriculture, sustainability, whilst I was in high school, I would have just laughed because I was not a science student. I was a business student. It wasn't something that I ever thought of. And so for me, what makes the dream beautiful is the fact that you are given another opportunity, but you also have to give yourself that chance to be resilient, to push through it. And so, like I said, American Dream would definitely, like you said, it has some terms and it would definitely have a condition. You can't, when you dream, you have to wake up and act on it. So I think those will be the terms and the condition. And that's like my definition of success. You can have the dream, but if you don't put it to work, then it's not success. It's just you actually daydreaming. Yeah.
Nice, nice, nice. I mean, there was something you made mention of, like that was going to be a follow-up question. I mean, specifically to you, right? And you made mention of how you were once, or maybe it's still written somewhere, or at the back of your mind, or to those people where you were coming from, like, oh, you were very chattered. You were chattered at a very young age, right?
Mhm.
And that in itself is very prestigious, right?
Yeah.
It holds a lot of prestige. And all of a sudden, you came into this country that, in fact, they didn't regard your credentials as anything. You needed to like start again. And it makes me wonder, was he quite challenging to you to accept that fact that, you know what, come on, whatever you think you know, it doesn't apply
Yeah.
here. I feel like, in a way, it humbles somebody.
Mhm.
But then again, also at the back of your head, you are resilient to the fact that, you know what, I mean, I've done it before, I can do it again. How did that transition? I mean, what was your mindset? What was your mindset like? I'm pretty sure you were humbled and you were resilient at the same time. If you understand my question, what does that like? What were you able to like? How were you able to make that turnaround or that switch to be like, you know what? Okay, let's just. I mean, it doesn't matter. I'll do it again.
Do it again.
Right. So I will start from the last job I was in before I came here. I was a finance manager. Things were pretty good. I didn't think that I would be stuck in the American dream. I thought it was going to be like a quick stop here and then back to Ghana.
What do you mean about that? People might be wondering
All right.
what that means.
So while I was going through, I mean, as a manager, finance manager in there, the opportunity to come here came up. And so in my mind, I was coming in to actually study and then take that knowledge back to my company because it was pretty good. Things were lucrative, and the company where we were heading towards, I knew that with my with my international studies, I will be able to get like the group finance manager, which was in South Africa then. Pretty good, with a very good salary. I came in 2019, the fall of 2019, with the hopes of going back or graduating in the summer of 2020. Now we all know what happened. 2020, I kind of got shut in and also had to wake up to the reality that in America, I cannot practice accounting because the governing body in Ghana was kind of US based. We call it, sorry, UK based, like IFRS. And that is not the standard that the US uses here. The US is GAAP. And so it's almost like you studied A and you want to practice in B, which is naturally not possible. And so I realized that all the years, that knowledge is not out, but to be able to get a professional certification and to also have that work experience, it was not possible. And so I had to tell myself, and of course, where we come from back home, my upbringing, very super humble background. My dad is a teacher. My mom has a shop in the market. Actually, my mom she started selling tomatoes. And if you know anything about selling tomatoes, it's perishable. What does it mean? If you sell today, if you're unable to sell everything today, tomorrow it will go bad and you start from scratch. And so it's something that it's probably been in my mind. But what do I do? I am a Christian, and so I love the parable of the talent. At the moment where I realized that it was going to be difficult, I told myself, what do I have in my heart? What talent do I have? I have that resilience. I have that audacious virtue and not give up, that no matter what. And I'm pretty sure as we go down the lane, there are some other stories that will come up. You will get to truly understand it. We don't give up here. as long as we are alive, as long as we get to wake up for another 24 hours, the Bible says that his mercies are new every morning. He knows that yesterday's one you've utilized this already. So you need a new one. And so for me, I knew that I couldn't give up. And so, can I embrace this agriculture? Yes. Can I stand out in it? Yes. What do I have in my hands? What is different? I could actually merge accounting with agriculture. I could merge finance with agriculture. I could merge technology. COVID gave me the opportunity to study and learn a little bit about coding, which as an accountant predominantly I was not doing. And so in there, I knew that, all right, there are certain areas that I could fit in and I could stand out. And so that is how I started little by little. And of course, I had mentors down the lane. I had professors that when I took classes in the College of Engineering in my school, they looked at the projects, the class projects, realized that everybody was doing probably the same thing in data science, but I was applying mine in agriculture, which stood out. And so they kind of encouraged me to move on. And I decided to take it a step further and create my own nonprofit. So yes, this is how, we don't give up here.
I mean, like that speaks to your resilience, honestly, because it's quite challenging, right? If they tell you that you have to write another exam, and I wonder at times, like, is it not the same accounting? Like, is accounting not supposed to be the same throughout? Like, when you're talking about credit, debit, like,
What's the difference?
yeah, what's the difference? It feels like as if they just asking for you to just pay money. They just want to just eat your money.
Let's take it this way. You know, if you come to the US, we drive on the left lane. That's it, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
The UK,
It's on the right.
On the right.
So they are both cars, they are both roads, but it's just how you apply the standards. And so if you don't know that standard, you might end up adding when you should subtract. And so I actually appreciate the fact that I have to go through another study. Now, what they do is they would recognize your work experience from Ghana. They recognize the studies, but not the exam. So my undergrad, when I did my evaluation, they took all of my credit. So I am able to go write the exams and get certified if I have the time. And then I'll have to practice, like be under somebody's like a tutelage, then I can be a member. So it's not too bad, but I mean, it could have been better.
I know you're just trying to. I know you're trying to. What's the word? Yeah, you're being. What's the word? Diplomatic. I get it. But all I'm saying is
about it.
and be humble about it. All I'm just saying is that I don't know about you guys, but probably Kesh will agree with me on that. There's this what's called this pensions of like United States trying to be different. They just want to be looked at as different, and it is evident in a lot of things they do. Like for instance, I was used to kilogram back in Nigeria.
We have to.
I go here now. I have to be used to pounds. You understand? In Nigeria, now
It's just different.
it's different, and I'm like, why do we have to sort of create? It's almost like you're communicating the same thing at the end of the day. You're communicating speed, the same thing. This like at the end of the day, but then you just the unit that has to be different. And I'm like, why are we so obsessed with this? Like, why are they so obsessed with this? I mean, it's a lot of things I just can't wrap my head around. But like you said, it's all part of being like starting from the scratch. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you just need to be in tune with where you're staying. Like they say, if you're in Rome, you have to behave like the Romans. And good thing that you mentioned the UK, how they're driving on the right. You just have to. You can't go there and now start like challenging their government. You're not ready. You understand? And that is also part of being humble as well. Like, you know what? Okay, this is different. I'm just gonna like.
Yeah, I would slip in this that you know that if you have an already molded car and you are remolding, it's difficult rather than if you have just the metal or the parts of the car and you're molding it a new car. And so if we have that mentality that I am already molded. And so you need a country to remold you. It becomes very difficult. But if you change your perspective that I am a plain canvas and I want the system or the country to mold me positively, then you get a good one. So that is how I started
creating a new window,
yes, like a new canvas
a new tab.
thing, rather than I'm already a painted canvas and you are trying to repaint, it becomes
So what we've learned so far is that we coming into a new country, we are humble, we are resilient, we are also flexible and open-minded.
Being able to dream.
We dream.
I think that one.
So yeah, she has shared a lot of nuggets. Okay, she has a question. I have a follow-up question about. She mentioned an NGO, right?
So that's what I wanted to ask.
Yeah.
Too. And you kind of mentioned it in passing while discussing everything, and you come from a resilient background. You've also talked about being flexible to be able to redream, accept challenges. So, and for someone that has built something, you are a CEO and founder of your foundation, and I just wanted to let us go into deep into that part of the conversation on what led to you actually going into that and given your diverse background and how you kind of started in accounting, finance, and now you're doing something in the
Non-profit area. Yeah.
like how did that transition come about, what inspired it, and then sort of touch on the things that you've encountered, so this would also inspire people that are watching or listening to and it's also part of redreaming. So just give us a feel of how the dream came about, and let's dream with you once again.
So journey with me through my dream, and after the dream, how I took actions. Let me say that. So Green AgriTech Foundation came up in the year 2023. It was the August of 2023. It was in my third year of, actually my second year moving to third year, so second year of PhD. Remember that I said that in my master's, it was in agriculture. I hadn't seen a lot of application of data science or emerging technologies in agriculture, specifically to support small-scale farmers in food desert areas. What do I mean by a food desert area? It's an area, according to USDA, within a 0.5 mile or 10-mile radius that does not have access to fresh fruits and vegetables. So they could have a convenience store, they could have these mom and pop shops, but they don't have access to fresh fruit and vegetables. And so they are forced to buy canned fruits, canned vegetables, which is not the best because it has these the reason why it's not too good is it's been linked to a lot of health challenges, a lot of mental health issues, a lot of social vices. We do not have farmers within that area, or farmers are not interested in selling their produce within that area. And so what I decided to do was, how can I help farmers outside of our big cities or outside of thriving areas to connect with these people? I can teach them to have better farming practices, because I realized most of them were learning from experience. I kid you not, farmers are farmers everywhere, all around the world. The way, I think it's something about the occupation. It rained last year, it's probably going to rain this year. We work with seasons, but it's not all the time that seasons are predictable. Can we use certain data-driven technologies to help them? Can we bring in UAVs? Can we bring in remotely sensed data from drones? Can we have some advanced deep learning techniques that can tell them a lot about their soil, rather than they knowing that I always grow spinach on this, so I'll do spinach. What if they combine spinach with basil and cucumbers? What will be their yield? After the yield, how would they be able to take their produce to the market? I call it value addition. What are the access to grants that they have as small farmers? What is the city of Greensboro offering farmers? Are they aware? What is the Guilford County offering farmers? The state of North Carolina, United States Department of Agriculture, Food and Agriculture Organization, FAO of UN. What are they offering small scale farmers? What is going on in this area? I decided that I will do that job for small scale farmers in food desert areas. And so I went through the USDA. They have something called the Distress Community Index. The higher the index, the higher the food desert area, the higher the unemployment rate, the higher the poverty propensity score. So that means it is that bad. Now, when all these things come up in an area, we know how things happen. There's a lot of vices, education goes low, and all this stuff. You never know what will happen in a county that will be close to you. So I decided that why don't I bring up something that will help, will benefit us, because we all eat at the same time. We all eat, every day. If we're able to get clean food, if we're able to get food that we know that is sustainable, if you're able to teach these farmers, what is the volume of fertilizer that, organic fertilizer that a corn farmer will need for their specific land? They don't know. Oh, they'll probably say, I need maybe 2 pounds or 3 pounds. But within it, what is the volume of nitrogen that they need, potassium? So I decided that we can use data, we can use technology, and also read around and help these farmers. So that is how Green AgriTech Foundation.
Wow.
Yes.
Guided just
Because before I forget, I was going to ask the question. Not really a question. It was going to be more of like to speak to what you said earlier while you were trying to like let us know what your NGO is all about. I must say it's an incredible thing you're doing for the farmers, right? I need to applaud that. Being able to make some predictive analysis for when and how to grow their crops, and it has sort of like reduced their problem. You know, there used to be a time that farmers could predict when it's going to rain, what season it's best to grow certain crops, right? But I don't know about you. I feel like with the challenge of climate change now,
Everything is upside down. You can't even,
like they can't make
raining, there's heat, there's
yes,
everything going on.
yeah, and that's in itself, it makes their job harder.
right.
And you coming in the time that you're coming in and making all of these predictions, because I'm pretty sure you probably have actually uh, taken into account those climate changes as well.
Yes.
And that's in itself makes their life easy, and it speaks to the volume of just how you've been able to like you've been helpful to the farmers. But if there's been, I don't know, just how conversant you are with what has been trending right now, because I know for a fact in Nigeria back home we still hear a lot of things, especially on Twitter, and people talk about GMOs.
Right.
It's been the news lately, right? I don't know what your takes are on the GMOs, because it seems like as if they are trying to make Africans be is it receptive of that?
Right.
And we all grew up knowing that part of why we are the way we are in terms of like um healthy living is because all our crops and foods are actually homegrown, right? But now, lately, because if you, I don't know just how, if you follow Twitter a whole lot, there's somebody I'm just going to like, no, I'm not going to bring up names, but Kesh is already laughing. Kesh already knows what I'm talking about. And they've been sort of like sounding that narrative right now about GMOs, like how it is safe, oh, it's good. That's
Yeah.
been the narrative.
You're speaking my mind. I'm going to bring it on to
I don't have an idea yet about, I don't have an opinion, let's say, because I know what works for me. It might not be what works for the others, but what do you think? Because you are like in the business, you know what is what firsthand. Like whatever you tell us now, I won't say it's good, but I would be more receptive of that.
yeah.
Let me know.
That's Actually, that's interesting. I remember in 2022, I joined a group of researchers on genetically modified proteins like beef. We didn't go into the fruits and vegetables, which I know has already been in place. It started with trying to grow disease-resistant crops or weed-resistant corn. That's how it started. But I would say that being in the field and my take on GMO, we know how things started back home. Like sometimes you just throw tomato seed from your kitchen in your backyard.
And
You don't even water it, and then it grows.
yep.
Eat it, and you know that this is tomato. Now, with the advent of information, I would think that we should even improve on it more. I do not buy the whole idea of fully going GMO, but I think that we can use data to actually improve it. That is why I am using technology. I'm trying to help these farmers to increase their yield from a good plot of land. Let's give this example. Because worldwide population has increased. As of 2022, it was estimated that in 2030, our whole population will be 9 billion globally.
Wow.
But I'm pretty sure that we have already hit that 9 billion. And so now the burden is that in all of this 9 billion, 70% of the food production relies on agriculture. And I mean it, 70% of food. Like farmers have to be at least 70% productive to be able to meet this demand. Now, as of 2024, globally, their outputs were seen to be around 50. And so there's definitely
there's a deficit.
there's a deficit. I said 70, so the 30, who are those? Research institutes, processing companies, those within that value chain, they have to supplement. But in recent times, we are seeing that they are actually taking more than what the actual farmer should do. And so instead of me eating boiled corn, I'm probably going to eat cornflakes. Do you get what I'm trying to say? People are now interested in the processed product, making the raw food unattractive. And this is why I am looking to let's go back to the basics. On that same land, can we grow carrots from water, hydroponics, and not clone carrots or genetically modified carrots? On that same land, can we do vertical farming? Instead of digging deep down to the soil, can we create a really simple way of bringing the soil up rather than digging deep and grow the same food? There's something called agrivoltaics, which is agriculture. Voltaics is like electricity, but in this case, it's solar. Can we use solar? Because the more I read into it, I realized that some crops like spinach, lettuce, they don't need direct sun. So can we use that solar panel as a shade whilst it's also generating electricity to produce more food? Actually, we realized that, and there's a paper out of it, is from the state of Oregon. They did a study and realized that if they use the solar panel as shade, the shape of the lettuce is bigger. And for lettuce, we eat the leaves. And so that means you get more lettuce. You don't need it to be genetically modified.
Okay, so
Nice.
I have a question to that. So what you're saying is that because now the school of thought is that from what you said gathered so far is that GMOs is meant to supplement farmers' production.
Yes.
Coming into the 30%.
Right.
Just to make up for like the deficit where they are falling short. So you are saying that I won't say you're totally against the GMOs, but you are more of like you can help farmers meet that set target.
Have a good balance.
Let's have a good balance, right? So you are more of like we can read that target, but we need to go back to just how we do things for the farmers.
Yeah.
Like,
And be more productive.
We need
Yeah.
the original before we can even think of modifying.
yes, so now I understand. So that this is just for our viewers and listeners, so they understand what your what's it
Your
called suggestion is.
Yeah.
Yeah, what your opinion is actually, because a lot of times they could be like, okay, what exactly is your opinion about GMOs? So I'm trying to like make them understand and see where you're coming from. So you are more of like, how can we make farmers more productive? And you are using all of these technologies so that then they can reach their target of like at least 70% to be able to feed that set population you said earlier, right? So
Right.
I think that's where that is very important to draw that distinction where you're coming from. So I get it. In fact, it makes absolute sense right now that all of these technologies are actually put in place. And just so I had, do you think it is different? Why is it then different that I won't say why is it then different, but from what I've read so far, there's a reason why European farmers or the European countries don't do that GMOs. They still rely on their farmers. They don't mind the crops maybe going bad. Is there something, are there some incentives to farmers such that they're able to do that in the European countries? Or what makes them different that maybe the US can emulate them? And you understand what I'm saying?
You see the foods we have here
Yeah,
compared to other places, and it's
yeah.
and
Why
even
can't because I'm thinking, is it that do they have food scarcity over there? I'm pretty sure they probably don't have
how are
it.
they doing it
Why
that
they
we
doing
can't do it here? What's going on?
it?
Everything is now seedless, GM.
Actually,
Business
like
is still
I like this very well. Now I'll give you free access into some of the conversation. I am part of the Food and Agriculture Organization. We call our group is called Agroecology. I'm also on the Sustainable Food Value Chain board under Food and Agriculture Organization, and also under the UN Agroecology. Now
Okay.
FAO is in Italy, which is like Rome. UN
okay.
is in Italy. So I usually join our monthly meetings at 3 a.m. my time, but
Because
it's
of
around
Yeah.
even though it's done, I'm still able to bring my suggestions. Now, this is what I have learned. First of all, the EU has a really strict policy when it comes to GMO. A lot of countries, and I did say that I did a research a while back on GMO beef production. One of the barriers that we noticed was the EU's restriction. They will not allow certain things. And I think all of this is coming from years of research. The GMO did not start like as a bad thing in quotes, as people think. All right, this year I grew tomatoes within 3 days, they went bad. What can I do? Can I probably add maybe tomato and let's say, and this might not be the best example, maybe cucumber. Maybe cucumber can last 5 days. Can I find a way of creating tomato and cucumbers that might last? Tomato was 3, cucumber is 5, maybe 8 days. And so like resistant stuff.
and
And then
increase
Are you breeding them together or what are you doing?
so that's how it became like a hybrid.
Oh, okay.
So they're like, okay, so maybe disease resistant, um, pest resistant. That's how it started. But as human as we are, you know, a little success here, and then we start pushing to the next.
other things.
They're doing all these lab grown meat, lab grown stuff, to kind of
Quicken the
supplement, let me say, and produce more. And some of these things also come on the other side of funds and trying to change things around. And so that's how it kind of evolved into those areas. But back to Europe, I would say that they have gotten a really strong understanding of what they truly want, their taste and preference of what their people want. Because if I produce cornflakes and nobody buys it or they don't like that taste, I will be forced as a manufacturer or as a producer to listen to my people. I would say that here the market is super diverse and very skewed towards, I'll take it. That is what is happening. We all started complaining. This summer, I've been talking about seedless watermelon. Like in Ghana, you will find these women selling watermelon on their heads and they will slice it. It is so juicy, with all the seeds. Like sometimes you even be wondering, are you
So many seeds.
it was one of like seedless cucumbers, seedless watermelon.
Seedless now. I'm like, how do you even grow?
Based on what do they grow a seedless fruit? I would say that is something that our audience should comment. But again, back to answer your question, I think that in EU they are really strict. These monthly meetings that I go, I learn a lot about what they want to do. I would say that they do a lot of work with following up, monitoring, and evaluating, listening to the farmers, listening to consumers, having very strict policies in there, and also their culture. The culture is, oh, if there's no seed, I probably will not eat. If I don't understand it, I would try and not buy it. Now, the US started something in there. They call it country of origin labeling. And also, like, when you go to the shop to buy, you can see that maybe organically grown,
which are very expensive.
so they put those stuff in there, like the labeling. It's like a step towards transparency. If we don't buy, we are speaking to federal agencies, we are speaking to producers that they don't want that. But in this case, till we all become one and say that we don't accept it, it will still be there. And that is why for us, we don't just work with farmers. I will talk to Kesh, I will talk to Akin. You know what? You have a backyard. You can actually grow your own bell peppers. You'll be surprised that in a year you just consume maybe 24 bell peppers. And you can get all that 24 from just 2 seedlings of bell peppers. You can start from your own space. And I would also add this before I end the session on this question. As of 2022, the US annual food wastage, okay, if we are to quantify it, could fill about 220 stadiums annually. Food wastage.
US alone.
Yes, the US.
Wow.
This was my
The wastage was due to, is it the food decaying or what?
No, I'm talking about you buying that corn
And eventually
off your fridge and forgetting that you've had it for 3 years and throwing it in your bin.
So this is,
We waste a lot of
food.
food.
so this is my problem now. Now that you've said these statistics, so, and I want to believe that, I mean, obviously you are in the field, you know what you're talking about. So now, and this is one of the reasons why I won't say I hate, the hate is a strong word. Maybe dislike.
I
The
dislike.
PR, the PR behind sensitizing the public or the masses to get on board with GMOs. So where they were coming from was more of like, oh, to prevent food wastage, but nobody talked about how the food wastage came about. Now, hearing what you just said about how even individuals waste food or the manner in which they waste food, not because, and not to speak to the reason why it's important to have GMOs. Do you get what I'm trying to say? You see the disparity that I'm talking about. There was another thing that the PR, or I dislike about the PR behind some of this GMO is another thing on the issue of like the watermelon, for instance. Now, you made mention of how it's very important to get suggestions or surveys for individuals, maybe about the taste of certain food. You understand? And then people follow through with the solution or alternatives. Now, I'm pretty sure individuals will be like, one of the reasons why they probably don't like a watermelon is because it has too many seeds. And then they think, okay, how about we make something that doesn't contain seed at all?
Yeah.
Now, see where the issue is and the mistake is. The mistake now is that, now they come up with this, and then the same individuals says, it doesn't taste seeded watermelon like it's supposed to taste. But they forget to realize that you see one thing about the people that actually come up with these ideas, or the manufacturer, or whatever you call them, maybe that's not the name, right? Is that they are more money driven.
Producers.
They don't care
Especially
about
in this
customers. They don't care
economy.
about consumers.
Right. Right.
But then consumers don't know this. That one is just it.
Mhm.
I'm, I have
Continue,
another
yes,
question.
yeah.
I mean, so my question is, even the organic stuff that we see in stores, are they really organic?
Now, let me reframe that question. How organic is organic?
Organic.
How organic is organic? Give an example, okay? I wish I had that tomato here. And so we bought a tomato from a shop, and then we grew our tomato, the same variety, Roma tomato, and then we put them together. First things first, the one we bought had a smell, right? And so we're able to notice that was probably the preservatives and stuff that they put on it. The second thing was, like I said, in the BBL. That's funny because in the shape, like it was as if it's Changa and Enoma. I don't know how to say it. Like it was so funny. I was like, oh my god, this is Roma tomato. This is Roma tomato. Like one just looked big, one looked small, and then I'm like, okay, let's cut them. Let's do a test. Let's do a salad test. We cut them, wash them together, same whatever we put in the solution here is the same solution. Cut them, decided to chop them up and taste them. Oh my goodness. I was like, wow, this is not tomato. Like
Bad tomato.
I don't know. Yes, I don't know.
Bad.
I was like, oh my goodness. I mean, how organic. And that was organic from the shop too, by the way. That was organic by the shop. And we grew one in our backyard. Two different tastes, same breed, same organic seedling. At least my ground truth was it was organic. Theirs was a labeled organic. So how organic is organic?
Like Aki said, the economy is driven by by profit.
Driven by profit. So people will come up with and I think honestly it's with there's a saying that everybody knows, right? And it's the same way I apply it to life. Like not all that glitters is gold, right? Trust me, not all big looking crops are actually organic to me. You understand? The moment I see that it's bigger than what I'm used to, then I know that okay, there's something wrong. I mean, I'm almost like I see bell pepper is not supposed to be this big. There's a problem.
Bell peppers are looking cute.
They're looking all this.
One thing that I would chip in here is also encourage our viewers to shop locally with these
like farmers market.
Farmers market, right?
Yeah. Costing small scale farmers. So there's a farmer that we have a pilot project here in Greensboro. Shout out to Mr. Gardner from the Positive Direction for Youth Urban Farm. Everything is super organic. Actually, you can go there Saturday mornings from 10 to 12 to actually volunteer your hours, and you live there with organic.
Nice. I was going to ask this question afterwards because I know our time is fast spent, and this is the interesting thing about like conversations like this or topics like this. I like it. So I don't know, Kesh, I have just two questions, and we're just she's quickly gonna like answer, and then maybe we just wrap it up and stop.
Okay.
I mean, the first one is gonna be, the last question is gonna be more of like what you just did now, just telling us where they can. If you have anything you're trying to plug, just people to sensitize people, individuals. That's like they're gonna be.
Encourage this, encourage and everything. But
and then the first part was in all of these endeavors that all of these things that you're doing, like how are you able to combine this with family? Because more so you are a mother, you're a wife, and see, trust me, in the society whereby you don't get to see a lot of women doing this much, or I won't say or encouraged to do this much. Are you able to like navigate this whole thing? Because trust me, I'm inspired. Exactly. So please. Let us know.
Okay. Thank you so much for this part. I would say it's part of the terms and conditions of the American dream. So I am a wife. I am a mother of a 12-year-old girl back home, but I have not had any biological child yet. Now,
Okay.
I have lost 5 children in my 4-year
Um,
marriage. It adds up to the story of resilience. Actually, the year that Green AgriTech Foundation was born, the period that I was going through another child loss was when I actually told myself that I would do this. And so for me, for every yes, every appointment that I have gotten out of Green Agritech Foundation, and I mean being selected as one of the few 33 collegiate entrepreneurs under the Women Business Enterprise National Council, which is a super prestigious organization. They are under the U.S. Small Business Administration. They give advisory to the White House Business Administration to go and pitch my idea to over 5,000 Fortune 500 companies. Some of these things I tell myself that to my children who were never born, this is what I'm doing for you. Having to pick myself up, going through series of challenges, again, all within my PhD, having experienced friendship betrayal, losing friends, being alone in a certain space. And like you said, you don't meet women in the space of agriculture and technology who are passionate. When I went for that pitch, there was one lady who was also doing something in food desert, but hers was just taking I wouldn't say just hers was actually taking food trucks from one she purchased from farmers from one area to food desert areas, which was very commendable. But I wanted to get on the ground, get dirty, and work with the farmers. All of this for free. And not everybody is interested in working for free. Not everybody has that passion that you want to do this and just do it. One time somebody told me, I think you are just doing this just so you could navigate the US immigration system. I hadn't even thought of that. And so for me, going through all of that as a wife, as a student, having experienced a lot of losses, a lot of closed doors, no, were actually fueling me for the next thing. The time I did this, I actually put in the application for this WeBank that I was selected. I did it at 10:45 of that last day. And I was like, you know what? I'm still gonna put this. So we should do a 3 minute pitch YouTube video and just submit it. I put it in and told myself, I'm already going through a loss. If they say they didn't pick me, I'll cry it all together and move on to the next thing. But in 2025, I stand here to say that when I went for that conference, we usually it was a price of 5,000, and I think 5,000, 3,000, 1,000, first, second, third. I did not win any monetary prize, but I came out with 2 technical grants from K-Tech Industries and Tractor Supply.
Yeah.
Can we, if your hands are not too busy and if you're watching this, can we take this something just to celebrate Victoria?
Honestly,
Woman. No.
really, I didn't
You.
know what I was. Honestly, I can tell you for a fact, I didn't know what I was thinking. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what answer to expect. But I don't know. It felt now. By the time you started talking, it felt like should I have actually asked that question?
Oh yeah.
And at the same time, I got even more inspired from your story. And for I don't know, if you were here now, I'm giving you a hug, like you know.
Oh, this is for the woman out there.
Yeah.
I sit here and I am the director of finance for
Wow.
a really beautiful nonprofit called African Research Academies of Women. Under the Biden administration, we got a chance to go to the White House. I didn't go, but this is the prestige that we have. As the director of finance, what do? We inspire girls in STEM, undergraduate students in STEM back home. with our annual undergraduate research project. We host them for 8 weeks. And I am like an inspiration to them. I am a reviewer for multiple federal.
See,
Right.
you have the flow.
Oh, I
Be a pity party, is to encourage every woman out there, international, local, domestic. I don't care about your category. You can start from somewhere. That
You start from scratch.
that you
yeah, and make reasonable impact.
make reasonable impact. That loss is actually a redirection to a greater thing.
Preach, preach it, preach it, preach it. See, I'm your audience, I'm your congregation.
Yeah,
Honestly,
times that I want to give up. I've had so many times that I want to. So many times that I will cry. So many times I'll ask why me. So many times that I've had friends who will literally hold me and say, this thing that you want to give up, we will not allow you to give up. I've had super mentors. And that I will say that at the end, backstage with you people, the biggest breakthrough America God gave me.
yeah, no,
You will
why you
come
don't
back.
like that? It's for years.
As an international student, I just want you to know that it is okay to have all the frustration. It is okay to have all the no's. It is okay to doubt yourself. In fact, in doubting is growth, because when you doubt, you are asking if you are
Good enough. They are good enough. Yeah.
and you think you are not. That doubt, you use it. I remember one time I sent application to UN Compact, something. I knew I didn't meet any of it. They came back and said, you do not qualify for this. However, we want to appoint you under the UN agroecology. And so you never know. They say the sky is your limit. Go beyond it. So that if you're thrown down, you actually hit the sky. That is my I always want to hold myself to a really super high standard. This PhD, I never thought I would be able to go through it and juggle it with all the health issues, with family, people back home, trying to navigate this nonprofit, having people around. But we've been able to have initiatives with the city of Greensboro, have partnerships with Agri and Agri Associates in the UK. I have farmers, shout out Smithfield Farm in Ghana. I have farmers here. We have 8 partnerships now. We've had letters of commitment money. We've had grant seed money. I went for the Hong Kong FinTech accelerator program. I did it online because I couldn't travel to Hong Kong, but I've been able to stand on stages virtually, talk about my passion, literally what I'm excited about, and have great audience. So you can do it. You can be a subject matter expert. If you don't tell yourself no, the other no's do not change anything.
The other knows do not change. Love that. If there's anything viewers have picked up, this is a very wonderful episode. And like I say, trust me, I hate to always let good conversations come to an end. Trust me. It's been an hour of intense learning.
Very deep.
And if there's anything I've picked from this is that with the American dream, despite the uncertainties, continue to dream and redream.
Yes.
Don't place limitations on yourself. And like I said, there will be too many challenges, like our guest has said. Like I said, continue to push through. And for our viewers and us as a podcast, we're not just releasing just any of our content. We want to put our content that are very, how will I say, ready. And that's why you probably might think we take our time most cases. If we don't find guests that are actually that their story resonates with us, Kesh, we'll do our thing ourselves. You understand?
Yeah.
But when we bring guests on the show, we really want it to be guests that have stories to tell. Very that's just one thing we want to make sure of. And other than that, I think this is a very good spot to end this episode. I don't know about you, Kesh. What do you have to say?
Take time to first of all, appreciate Victoria for agreeing to do this, coming on the podcast to share your story and also be real with us. We really, 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 really appreciate you. And we also, we also want to celebrate you, for all the feats that you've achieved and, despite all the obstacles, difficulties, and you've been able to come out of it stronger, better, making impact. So, here's another round of applause for you. Thank you so much. And I know some people might, want to be a part of what you're doing or just start their own thing. I think we're going to, is there any way they can reach you?
Yeah.
And also maybe I don't want us to go further than this, but if there's one thing you want to say to, I know you've mentioned it, but for someone that wants to start something new, maybe a foundation, an NGO, whatever it is, what's one thing you would say to them in a nutshell before we run?
Thank you so much. It's been a super privilege for me to actually come on this podcast to share my story. Thank you, Akin. Thank you, Kesh. And thank you, viewers, for even listening to my story. Now, I'll say this before I talk about how people can reach me. So, you listening or you watching, I know your frustration. I know how difficult it is. I know how so many times you try to push and it looks like systems, protocols will push you down. But for every no, like I said, there's a yes out there. And so I just want you to know that do not give up. And not giving up does not mean don't close that chapter. Do not close it. You can reopen it at another time. It is okay to give yourself some break. I really understand your frustration, but don't give up. Now, for those who are looking to make impact, and I will not just say people should just go into non-profit organization. I am very focused on make impact. You can make impact with a sole proprietorship, with a private business, with a partnership. You can make impact anywhere because that should be your goal, to solve a problem and make impact. I'll say start small. Look for an area where you have the passion. Something that when you sleep, and they wake you up in the middle of the night, you wake up and talk about. Like I said, 3 a.m., I'm talking about that break. Something that you can do without thinking. That is what I'll tell somebody. And then for people who are interested in my area, in nonprofit, my name is Victoria Tanoh, CA means Chartered Accountant. You can find me on LinkedIn. I'm pretty sure you put in my details. My nonprofit is Green AgriTech Foundation. A simple Google and you find our website. You can contact us right there. I am open to collaborating with people in this space, people in diverse space. Agric is the foundation. So if you are even in
It's the new gold.
if you are in journalism, let's do agricultural communication. If you are into videography, like this podcast, let's do something. Reach out to me. There's always a way we could merge. If you eat in this world, you can definitely find a space in agriculture. Okay, so that is what I would say to our viewers. Thank you so much.
With that, we are saying see you in the next episode.
Yeah.
Later. Thank you,
Bye.
guys.
Bye.